And welcome back to Phoenix 76 Tech Talk. And today we have one heck of a broadcast for you. Today we're going to talk about something called cybersecurity. I have my friend here with me who is
Dare. I've been in IT for over 20 years, and I've actually been in cybersecurity for about 10 years.
so Daria, let's talk. So I just heard you say you have a very long period of being around the space, being in the space. Well, let's talk about how did you begin? Did you go straight from college into the technology space? What was your journey like?
So my journey was actually after I graduated college, I was with the company working as a field service engineer. After I did that for a few years, got laid off. Then I was working with another company. I was doing more like field service work, actually, field service work. And then luckily for me, because I'm a veteran, the VA had a program where you can retrain workers to go back to the workforce. So I went to this tech school, sort of like a boot camp. I did, I actually started out with CCNA, with networking. I was going to go for networking. I was going to go for my PMP. I was trying to be a project manager. I was trying to be like a technical project manager. That was my original goal with that boot camp that I went to. And then
Okay.
luckily enough, I had a few guys that were in the boot camp with me. They started talking about security. They started talking about security. And security is something you actually kind of learn in the military, but I just never took more interest to it in like on the cybersecurity end. So from there, after I finished my PMP and CCNA certs, I took the Security Plus cert. And then I started getting these security certs. I did the CASP cert, CASP cert. That's another CompTIA cert. I did the Certified Ethical Hacker cert. That's another cert. I did a Linux cert. So I was just getting all these certs. And that's actually kind of how I got into cybersecurity. I actually started in a network operations center first there, pretty much more on the networking side. You still do a little bit of security, port security, which is basically you just blocking ports in your company. Basically, you can't just plug in your Ethernet cable and plug in your laptop and think you're going to get on the network. Yeah, they can. Those ports can get blocked and you can't get on the network.
Okay.
I started learning from security from there, and then started learning from how you can block certain IPs from the edge firewall. So there, and then from there, I went to a company called. Basically, I was basically like a sysadmin security role, and that's where I was able to learn more about cybersecurity. I learned about identity access management. I learned about incident management. I learned about security events. I learned about cloud security. I learned about database security, endpoint security. Even with that company, if you go on vacation for about 2 weeks, you can't log into your laptop. They're gonna lock you out. You're gonna have to call us to get back into your laptop. From there is where I kind of figured out, okay, I learned variety of aspects of security. And then even while I was working in that role, I'm sure you know antivirus softwares. That's a common thing that we used to do back then, but you can see that that's no longer a thing. Like having antivirus softwares on your laptops. And that company actually, we used to have like 4 or 5 antivirus softwares on your laptop before you can actually use it. So from there is where my interest kind of grew into more endpoint security. And the role that I'm in right now, it's a more of a endpoint security role, which is basically a anomaly based system that uses basically what's called NetFlow. So you have NetFlow configured on your routers and your switches, is able to basically detect different things on your network from the anomaly that they're seeing from security events and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into cybersecurity in a short, long way.
So first of all, thank you. And what I just heard that was you had to do a lot of pivots. So walk me through what that educational journey is like. Someone who's watching this right now, they may be in high school, they may be re-entering the workforce, they may have been incarcerated, and they are trying to get back into the workforce. What education requirements are needed, and how do they get that education?
I would say, as far as cybersecurity, you just have to stay a role where you have to be. inquisitive, you have to stay curious. And I would recommend, Security Plus. Start with Security Plus. If you're able to get that certification,
Okay.
that that can kind of get you in the door as far as, if you want to go to cybersecurity, right? And then, depending on the organization you were with, you can start from your desktop team. From the desktop team is where, you basically maintain laptops and stuff like that. From there, you can navigate your way into maybe the networking team, the knock environment. Well, sometimes it's easy to just work at a SOC. Some companies may take a chance on you, and
What's a
sometimes
SOC? What's a SOC?
security operations center, basically.
Okay.
That's the security operations center. A lot of organizations have security operations centers where basically they're analyzing the security events that they're gathering from SIMs. That's where you have analysts that are looking at those security events. And security events that's on a high level could be anything that happens on your network. Like when you type in a wrong password on your laptop, that'll create a security event. When you log into your laptop, certain things that you do on the network, it could create a security event. It uses like a point system to generate security events. Once you reach that threshold, it creates a security event. So that'll be my advice for someone.
So now I want to take a pivot here for a quick second because I want to go back to the role when you said you were doing some of the various things you were doing at some of the companies. If you had known then what you knew now, what would you have changed about the way either A, you started your career, the way you use your education to obtain some of the certification, or even how you plan your career out? What would you do different?
That's a good question. I would say maybe network more and stay abreast with security webinars or security
Okay.
conferences. So those kind of things. You'll be exposed, or even join a security organization. There's an organization called ISSA, which you can join. So I would say that would be the thing I would advise people. Those conferences, you're able to meet people, you're able to understand the new trend of what's going on in the security landscape, the dark
Okay.
web. You
Okay.
have people who will expose you, and you will learn what's the next, ransomware, whatever is out there that's hot. You can learn from those conferences, basically.
I just heard you mention conferences. So what tools or technologies do you use regularly to perform your job and how do you stay updated?
I would say creating labs. You gotta create labs. You gotta,
Really?
yes, I gotta, depending on whatever technology you're working on. As for me, the technology I'm working on, it's constantly changing. So you got to stay up to date with what's going on with the technology. And the way to do that is through labs. You got to break stuff, fix it, understand how certain things work. That'll be my advice. And that's how I actually stay up to date with what's going on. I actually get like a news. I subscribe to one of the news channels. I get up to date on what's going on in security landscape as well. As on CyberWire, I get emails every day. What's going on ransomware wise, what's going on in the cybersecurity landscape wide. So that's another way as well that I stay up to date.
Final question, we get you out of here on this one. What does a typical day look like for you and what do you enjoy most about that day?
Typical day is a part of what I do is I assist customers in making them understand what am I seeing in my network? Is this something that I need to be concerned about? So I enjoy helping customers, making them understand, okay, your network is protected. Your different policies that you have set up in your tools that you're using to check what's going on. We have host policies, you have group policies, you have,
Okay.
those are I'm just giving like a high level. So I enjoy assisting customers, making them know that we're here to help them and make sure their network is protected, basically.
So Daria, let's pivot for a quick second. I'm sitting at home. I'm listening to this. I'm trying to get back into the workforce, may have been incarcerated. I'm trying to enter the workforce, or I'm a college student who has an interest. How would I go about getting started in the cybersecurity space?
Good question. I would say, in order to get into the cybersecurity space, you're gonna have to start as an analyst, like a cybersecurity analyst, when you're
Okay.
working in a security operations center. And one of the key foundations I would say is start with your security plus search. If you're able to get that, that will help. And if you're good with Linux, Linux is also a good thing to learn in order to be able to be good at this role.
Okay.
Those two things. And for a role as a cybersecurity analyst, a lot of what you're doing is basically you're analyzing a lot of logs. Basically, you're making sure you understand what's going on with these logs that's being generated from wherever it's coming from. Basically,
So, first of all, thank you for that. And final parting question. If you had to give somebody advice, advice would you give them if they want to enter into this space?
I would say, like I said before, start with the security plus cert. Try and get that out the way. Another thing I would say is try and find some mentors. See if you can find people who's been in the industry for a while that can coach you and let you understand the interview questions that you're gonna see when you're going through the interview. Because the getting the cert, that's just the first part. You're gonna have to, be able to, ace the interview to get these roles because these are important roles. Someone's being hit with a ransomware attack or phishing attack, you have to understand what's going on. And if you're not able to understand those things, you're not going to get these roles. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, friend, for giving us some of your time today. And everybody, thanks for watching. Another great presentation for Phoenix 76 Tech Talk. See you next time. Have a great one.
All right.